Lily lived on a quiet street near the river where the mail arrived at noon with a soft chime from a small silver bike bell. The carrier was called Era. She was not human. Her people were travelers from a cool moon with blue trees and long winters. She wore the navy jacket of the Postal Service and a simple cap. She carried a canvas bag full of letters and small boxes, and she always smiled with careful respect. The town liked Ara because she was gentle and steady. She knew every dog by name and every mailbox that stuck on hot days. She kept a tiny notebook where she wrote details like front gate loose and box latch squeaks. She wrote in straight lines, and her handwriting looked like a row of tiny waves. One warm week in spring, the river rose in the cottonwood. Seeds drifted like slow snow. That was when Lily noticed something new. When Ara walked up the path, she paused at the lilac bush and took a slow breath as if the scent mattered to her in a deep way. Her pupils were wider. Her voice had a softer rasp. She seemed alert to sound and light. Lily worked from home as a repair tech for old radios and small speakers. She loved clean signals and patient tuning. She had a calm face and a quick laugh. She saw how Ara kept touching the brim of her cap as if it were a habit to keep her focused. Lily thought maybe Ara had a headache. That day, Ara gave Lily a small, padded envelope addressed to Claire on Maple Street by mistake. Ara realized it at once, and her ears flushed to a pale violet shade that meant apology in her culture. She bowed slightly and asked if she could fix the root error. Lily said it was fine and she could take it back later, and that everyone made mistakes. Ara relaxed and the color in her ears faded. By the end of the week, the small changes in Ara grew stronger. She drank more water. She walked a fraction slower. The bell on her handlebars rang in a careful rhythm, as if she were measuring her pace with it. She wore a light scarf, even in the warm air, and Lily figured the scarf was for comfort. On Friday, a rumor reached the block through the chat group that Ara's people were entering a special season. An aunt from down the street said she read an interspecies note posted at the clinic. The note said members of Ara's species might show signs of strong attention and clear need for structure during this time. They might also seek steady company and safe routine. It recommended a quiet environment at work and friendly support. Lily felt a small tug in her chest. She had respect for routine and she cared about clean signals and gentle order. She decided she would help if help was needed. When Ara arrived on Saturday, with a small parcel for Lily, the wind pushed dust along the curb. The parcel contained old vacuum tubes Lily had ordered for a radio rebuild. Ara asked if she could step under the porch roof for a moment because the light was sharp. Lily said yes, of course, and offered a chair and a cup of cool tea. Ara sat with careful posture. She held the cup with both hands as her people did to show trust. She said in a low, even voice that her cycle had begun. She said it was not an illness and not an emergency. It was a kind of open door in her body and mind that asked for clarity and kindness. She said she could still do her job, but it helped to have predictable paths and calm. Lily listened and did not make a big show of it. She said she could move the lilac pot away from the door if the scent was too strong. Ara smiled and said the scent helped her breathe steady. Lily left it in place. On Sunday, the river light was soft and gold. Lily set a small white line of chalk on the path to mark a smoother route for the bike. She taped a note to her mailbox that said, "Tray slides out easily." She put a small, cold pack in a cloth sleeve and left it by the steps in case Ara needed it. She wrote a quiet label that said, "For you." Monday arrived with a light drizzle. Ara came early and saw the chalk line and the note and the small, cold pack. Her eyes softened and the violet color in her ears warmed to a gentle rose. She did not say many words. She made a short, careful bow that meant gratitude from the heart. Lily bowed back in a simple human way and felt her own heart steady in her chest. As the cycled days moved forward, the town learned to meet Ara with patience. Mr. Dunn at the corner put a stool by his fence so Ara could rest her bag. Megan from the bakery offered bread ends at the gate so Ara would not have to step inside the busy shop. Brooke from the school left the gate unlatched to spare Ara the old rusted latch. These were small things, but they made a circle of care. At home, Lily tuned an old radio that once belonged to her mother. She found a station that played quiet strings late at night. The notes sounded like falling water. She thought about signals and how a receiver must be tuned to the right band to hear the truth that is already in the air. One evening, a storm rolled over the town with low thunder. Trees bowed. Roofs hummed. The power dipped. Lily lit a small battery lantern and checked her emergency kit. She heard the bell on a bicycle and opened the door. Era stood on the porch, soaked from the rain and holding a bundle of misdirected mail that needed a safe, dry place so it could be sorted in the morning. Lily brought towels and set a tray by the heater. Era did not step past the entry mat because her code said wet shoes must not mark a clean floor. Lily rolled a second mat out and made a path so Ara could come in without worry. Era stepped inside. Her hands trembled a little from the shock of cold air after rain. Lily made warm water with lemon and set it on the table. She did all this without rush. Era said the cycle made her sense of touch sharp and her mind full of signals from the world. She said it was as if every scent spoke a word and every small noise carried meaning. It could be beautiful, or it could be too much. Tonight, with the thunder and rain and the pressure in the air, it was almost too much. Lily spoke in an even voice. She said the house was quiet and the radio could play a low tone to mask the storm noise. She said the room had dim light and steady heat and the air was dry. She said Ara could sit and breathe and sort the letters in the morning when the post office opened. Era let out a slow breath and set the bundle down, and her shoulders lowered a little. They sat in companionable silence. The radio played a soft tone. The storm became a distant drum. Ara closed her eyes and counted 7 breaths down and 7 breaths up. Lily counted with her in her head. She wanted to be a steady presence. She did not touch Era, but she sat close enough that Era could feel another heartbeat in the room. Sometimes that is enough. When the storm moved east, the night air cooled. Era stood and fixed her cap. She said the cycle was not only a burden, it was also a promise. Her people believed that during this season they must honor bonds and keep roots clean and share gratitude openly. She said the town had given her so much, and she wanted to give something back. She opened her bag and took out a small token wrapped in blue cloth. It was a moon bead from her homeworld made from mineral glass that formed under ice. It held a faint inner shimmer like a breath trapped in stone. She offered it to Lily and said it was a sign of trust between carriers and keepers. Lily asked what a keeper was. Era said a keeper is someone who tends to the simple things that make life possible, like paths and lists and doors and tea and calm voices. A carrier can do her route because a keeper makes the world gentle enough to move through. Lily did not know what to say for a moment. She took the bead and felt its cool weight. She said she would carry it on a plain cord while she worked. Era nodded, and the color in her ears glowed soft as dawn. The next days were smoother. The storm had cleared the air, and the cycle settled. Era grew more relaxed, though she remained alert in a focused way. Children waved at her, and she waved back. Dogs wagged. The silver bell rang like a promise each noon. The mail reached the right doors. One afternoon, Lily's repaired radio failed a test. A signal drifted and would not lock. She tried 3 fixes, and none held. She felt a little lost. Then the bell rang, and Ara came up the steps with a slim package. Lily told her about the stubborn signal. Era listened and asked if the radio might want a new reference. She said on her world they taught novice navigators to listen for a low, stable hum before turning the fine dial. Lily tried adjusting the bass oscillator before the final trim, and the signal slid into place. She laughed out loud. Ara laughed too in her quiet way. In that moment, Lily understood the heart of the season. It was not about urgency. It was about alignment. It was about making room for another mind and another rhythm, and learning how lives can hold a shared, steady line. On the last day of the cycle, Era delivered a stack of postcards from a nearby town. Each card carried a short thank you message written in many hands. Mr. Dunn thanked her for patience with his slow gait. Megan thanked her for the smile she brought with the bread. Brooke thanked her for caring about the school letters with the test results. Claire from Maple thanked her for finding a lost parcel during the storm. Lily's card was at the bottom. It said, Thank you for trusting me. Era read the cards on the porch steps. She looked up at the sky as if listening to a far station. She said this place had become a true route for her. Not only a path to walk, but a line that connected many hearts. Lily stood with her and felt the same. When Era left that day, she rang the bell twice. It was their new signal. It meant all is well, and I am on my way. Lily went back to her workbench and set the moonbead where the light could touch it. The radio hummed steady. Outside, the world moved in calm rhythms. The season had passed, but the bond it shaped remained.